So our first question is, on fundoscopy examination of a patient, a red dot is seen. He has a history of being hit by a tennis ball. What is the probable cause? The options are Berlin's edema, macular tear, macular hole, and macular bleed. What would be your option? Just think. I think you would have guessed the answer right now. So the answer is Berlin's edema. Let's see the justification for the answer. Berlin's edema, it is otherwise called as commotio retinae. It is of common occurrence following a blow on the eye. And in the question also we had seen a point that the patient was hit by a tennis ball. So that was a clue. And Berlin's edema, it manifests as milky white cloudiness involving a considerable area on the posterior pole with a cherry red spot in the foveal region. This cherry red spot was also a clue given in the question. You must have noted it. And this, it may disappear after some days or it may be followed by pigmentary changes. Now we learned about Berlin's edema. But before moving to next question, we must look into the 4 options given in the previous question itself. There are 4 options in which Berlin's edema and macular hole are very important. So now let us read about macular hole. By learning the options given in questions, it will be easy for us to correlate with the concepts in the upcoming questions. Coming to macular hole. Macular hole refers to a partial thickness or a full thickness hole in the neurosensory retina in the foveal region. So it might be partial or full thickness hole. Etiology. It occurs due to ocular injuries or with increasing age or as a sequelae of an intraocular inflammation. One thing is ocular injuries or with increasing age or as a sequelae of an intraocular inflammation. And coming on to the pathophysiology, usually the vitreous gel has a firm attachment to the macula. But if the vitreous start to degenerate, this degeneration may be due to aging or trauma. So when it starts to degenerate, it separates from the retina. That is, the vitreous separates from the retina occasionally. And it will lead to traction on the macula. First, it will cause an elevation and later a loss of the retinal layer. This may be partial in lamellar holes, and in full thickness hole, there is the loss of entire sensory retina. The full thickness holes, they gradually affect the central vision, but these lamellar holes, they will cause distorted and blurred vision. So in full thickness holes, there will be a complete loss of central vision, and in lamellar holes, there will be distorted and blurred vision. We know that in full thickness holes, there will be loss of entire sensory retina, but in lamellar holes, there is a partial loss. That is why the vision is also changing. Coming on to identification, the edge of a macular hole can be identified using a slit lamp biomicroscopy and a plus 78D or plus 60D lens. Lamellar holes commonly show yellowish deposits at the base of the hole and they do not have a surrounding retinal detachment. But in full thickness holes, there will be a surrounding ring of retinal detachment, sometimes extending far away from the macular area into the periphery also. Some macular holes seal spontaneously and they require no treatment, but in many cases, vitreous surgery is required to ease the vitreous traction. And an internal tamponade with gas is used to close the hole and restore useful vision. Now, this picture depicts the vision of a patient with full thickness macular hole. There is a complete loss of central vision. The patient can't see the central part. And this was the actual image for a normal person. And this is the image obtained from optical coherence tomography for a patient with full thickness macular hole. See, there is a loss of complete sensory retinal area. By now, successfully we have learned 2 topics, Berlin's edema and macular hole.